Peace. Good evening, Silks BB Scratching. Good to see you. Like I said, okay, this is actually going to be a quick live stream. Let me lower the music. Good evening and welcome everyone. Welcome to all of my new supporters and welcome back to all of my returning supporters. I appreciate you all so much. So I was doing some thinking, and about all the things that's going on in the world and all of the different arguments and debates and all these things, right? And all across the board. And I was listening also to someone else on YouTube. And something became pretty evident to me, and that is no matter where we are, no matter who we are, and no matter our backgrounds or whatever, there are only two types of people in this world. In the whole entire world, there's only two types of people. So I only have one person right now in the chat. And that is, okay, I have two people in the chat. Health, weight, and real talk. Yes, 2 times in one day. So ladies, let me ask you, when you read the title of there's only two types of people in this world, what came to your mind? There are so many different. Hello, Woody Little John. The sisters are showing up. Good evening, Woody Little John. So, ladies, and anyone else that might come in, drop down from the clouds, or even if you're catching this on the replay before I even get into it, what comes to mind when you hear me say there are only two types of people in the world? And while I wait for you guys' response in the chat room, I will, y'all know me, y'all know I have something hot in front of me, so I will be sipping my tea. And if you're enjoying the music playing in the background, the music playing in the background this evening is none other than royalty-free music provided by Epidemic Sounds. Various artists, they have, I should be getting paid for this promo I'm doing right now. but they have different genres of music, and if you are a content creator and if you're concerned about playing music and having your platform, wherever your platform is, getting striked or hit for copyright, Epidemic Sounds is a lovely music provider. Low cost, very cost efficient. I highly recommend them. So Let's see here. So we have Health, Weight, and Real Talk said good and shady. Silk's BB Scratching said positive and negative. Willie Littlejohn said good and bad. And I want to tell you that those are some very good options. Those were some very good selections that you guys threw out there. So, and you're right that those definitely are two different types of people. But the two types of people that I am talking about are the least spoken of. And that is the righteous and the unrighteous. The righteous and the unrighteous. And you can have, of course, you can have different arguments and different debates about what is righteous, who is righteous. And you can, of course, say, well, who is that to judge? Who judges what righteous is? What is the scale of righteousness? And righteousness and unrighteousness has to do with religion, and I'm not a religious person. So that does not apply to me. See, that's how you can begin to have this conversation about the two types of people, the righteous and the unrighteous, unravel into many other conversations. You know, people strive to either gain weight or lose weight, more often lose weight, right? People strive to gain wealth. People strive to be famous, to have good careers. People strive to be recognized in different circles. People strive to be popular. People strive to be the next big thing. And at the end of the day, people strive to be healthy. And at the end of the day, no matter what you're striving for, the thing that's going to matter the most is who you are in one of these two types of people. Like at the end of your life energy, at the expiration of your physical life energy, what's going to matter is, were you righteous or were you unrighteous? And we have the possibility of them both in all of us. Just like we have feminine and masculine energy in all of us. We have positive and negative in all of us. We have good and shady, good and bad in all of us. All of these qualities, the both of them are in every last single one of us. And it's not even really about morals either, like, because you can be a good person and not be righteous. But trust me though, I will definitely take your good, okay? We will definitely take your good, okay? And you can have people that you might consider to be bad, but might be righteous. So it goes back to, well, how do you measure that? Peace, Dane Christopher. Welcome. You can do good deeds in this world. You know, you could be someone who gives a lot of money to different foundations. You could help the poor, you could help the homeless, feed the homeless. You know, you could do different things that would be considered good, but that doesn't necessarily make you righteous. You could obtain all the wealth in the world, and having all the wealth in the world will not be the thing to make you be counted among the righteous. If you ask me, you can be the most religious person in the world, and you can be very spiritual and still not be righteous. You can have good intentions and still not be righteous. But it does boil down to choice, like how you choose. Do you choose righteousness? Which I believe a lot of things in our lives, I believe a majority of things in our lives has to do with the choices that we make, and that we are responsible for the choices that we make. We're responsible for the award, for the rewards, and we are responsible for the consequences of the choices that we make. Even if something going on in our life is the result of someone else's choice, for instance, if we are reaping the repercussions of decisions made by parents or grandparents or ancestors, right? Because the Bible does tell us about the sins of the fathers visiting the sons and daughters, meaning the sins of the parents, the sins of your ancestors will visit your other generations. But even in that, we have a choice as individuals who and what we will become, in spite of any circumstances, in spite of any upbringing, in spite of any background. We have choices that we are responsible for in who we are being. I'm not here to convince you one way or the other, by the way. I'm simply providing some food for thought. If you look across the world, just look. You can just Google, even online, just Google any place in the world that you think might be better. And just see, can you find righteousness? And see, can you find unrighteousness? And if you can, you'll see that I'm right, that no matter where you go, everywhere in this world, those two types of people exist. Health Weight and Real Talk says there are plenty evil, hateful people who donate millions of dollars to charity for their own ego. Right. Willie Littlejohn asks, I believe righteousness is related to obedience. You got something there, Miss Willie Littlejohn. You got something there. Because welcome 3M. Because definitely if you are a believer, if you believe in the Most High, and I will tell you that I am a believer. I know and I recognize and I acknowledge that there are many gods, and that there are many religions and many spiritual beliefs. I recognize that. I subscribe to the Bible, and other biblical scriptures and texts. But there is definitely an obedience. There is definitely an obedience. God, I just got hot. Peace, LaShann, welcome. If you're a believer, then righteousness is definitely in being obedient to the Most High. While I believe that there are many gods and I believe in all of the religions, I subscribe that of all gods, there is one almighty God, and that is the Creator. There is one Creator of all things, one capital G, the most, hence being referenced to the Most High. Most, there meaning there is none any higher. There is no other any higher. There is no other worthy of such worship and adoration. And you might hear me speaking about this righteousness and this unrighteousness and think, well, then that means the righteous can't do no wrong, right? If there is the righteous, then there can't be no wrong. They can't do any wrong, meaning they would be perfect. No, I didn't say perfect and imperfect. I didn't say perfect and unrighteous. I said righteous and unrighteous. Let that marinate while I go turn my heater down. Enjoy the music. I'm so funny because I'll be talking about hot, and no matter how hot it is, whether it's inside or outside, no matter how hot it is, I don't care if it's summer or winter, I still love hot tea. No matter what, I love me some hot tea. Let me turn the music back down now because I am back. So you could be a wealthy, righteous person, or you could be an unwealthy, righteous person. Or you could be a poor, righteous person, or you could be a poor, unrighteous person. Female or male, thin, fat or thin, solid career or no career, popular or unpopular. The real thing is, are you righteous or unrighteous? One of the things that separates the two, though, is, well, before I go there, let me go back and dig a little deeper, speak a little more on the statement by Willie Littlejohn. When you are seeking the Most High and when you are striving for righteousness, the Most High will definitely speak with you. The Spirit will definitely move you. Your intuition will definitely be increased, right? As you become more sensitive to the Spirit, the more you seek, the more sensitive you become to the Spirit. The more sensitive you become to the Spirit, the more, let me slow down, the more sensitive you become to the Spirit, the more your intuition will kick in. So, if the Most High, even through the scriptures and even in prayer, and even just in your life, like throughout the day, if you're moved to do something and you don't do it, then that's your disobedience. And your disobedience will definitely fall into unrighteousness. Now, being disobedient and disobeying occasionally or different things, like choosing to rebel, like just choosing to be rebellious is not the same thing as disobedience. I said that this was going to be a quick line, and yet it's not so quick. But that's okay. Am I making sense, Willie Littlejohn? And you will definitely know, because one thing about the Most High, one thing about righteousness and unrighteousness, like you cannot ignore your intuition. You cannot ignore a word, a direction from the Most High and not be convicted. You cannot be led and decide to go the other direction and not be convicted. And the conviction is to correct you so that you don't feel comfortable and get too comfortable in continuing on this path. Because what happens is, okay, cool, because what happens is your disobedience, our disobedience takes us from the realm of safety of his wings. It tests the grace. It tests the mercy. Let's see. Dane Christopher says, do you think God created or gave birth to the universe? Do you think God created or gave birth to the universe? Now see, oh wow, now dang. Oh my goodness, Shalom, be Sparrow, welcome. That question right there, dang. I think, I think that God created the universe. I think God created, and I keyword here think. I think God created the universe, and I also think that God is the universe. Peace, Miss Hurricane, welcome. If you wait a minute, do you think other humans live on other planets? Wow. Do I think other humans live? I think it's possible. Then Christopher, I think it is possible. If you add sugar to the herbs, it's called test. But if you drink it bitter, it's homeopathic medicine. Oh, if I add sugar to the tea. Honey, I add honey. Those are some great questions, Dan Christopher. I can appreciate those questions. Thank you. Speaking of, let me go ahead and stir my tea and take a sip. Now here's the thing, right? Is when you speak in terms of righteous and unrighteous people, that makes it more black and white in what we're dealing with in life and who we are, who we choose to be, how we choose to be. That makes it more concrete than even races, than even culture, than even popularity. Because when you break down there being righteous and unrighteous and the power of choice that we have to choose which one we're going to be, that also shines a light not just on yourself, but it shines a light on who you choose to associate yourself with. It shines a light on who you choose to allow influence in your life. What worldly influence you allow yourself to have to cast a spell on you. And here's the ironic thing about the righteous and the unrighteous. They both want to win. There's one thing they have in common is both the righteous and the unrighteous want to win. Both the righteous and the unrighteous wants to be acknowledged. There's a few things that they have in common. And both the righteous and the unrighteous want and desires influence. The righteous definitely wants to influence the unrighteous. The righteous definitely wants to influence righteousness wherever it goes. Not whether it knows what kind of setting they're in or not. And the same thing with the unrighteous. The unrighteous definitely wants influence over the righteous. The unrighteous definitely wants to influence more unrighteousness in every environment that it goes. And they both desire this because they both desire being comfortable. Because see, whenever the righteous is in the company of the unrighteous, if the righteous says anything or does anything that's different from the unrighteous and shines a light on the unrighteous that makes it stand out, well then that light that's shining can make the unrighteous feel uncomfortable. And vice versa. Which goes to say, you know, birds of a feather flock together. You really shouldn't be, the righteous and the unrighteous, neither should be that comfortable in each other's presence without there being some kind of tug of war of influence. There's accepting, because no one is, you know, I'm not going to say no one, but it shouldn't just go around and just say, hey, I choose, you better follow me and do as I say do, or I'm not going to stand here, or I'm not going to work here, or if you don't. Although some people do put those kind of ultimatums on you, don't they? Who are you in the face of ultimatums? Ideally, what's comfortable for most people, for most of us, ideally what's comfortable is finding a gray area that we can occupy. Yes, it's unequally yoked, which is horrible in a relationship, right? That is just, unequally yoked is just horrible in a relationship. That's why a lot of us have problems. Truth be told, when we really break it down, when you really get down to the nuts and bolts of the matter, unequally yoked is huge. But that it's a gray area that just makes things a lot more comfortable. Now think about this symbolism. When it comes to racism, and when it comes to race, period, generally we have two. We have the black and the white. When it's all at the end of the day, no matter the culture or the ethnicity, we have the black and white. Ironically, now I'm going to try not to go down this rabbit hole tonight. Welcome, Ricky Grant, welcome. I'm going to try not to go down this rabbit hole. Deep anyway, because going down this rabbit hole would definitely have this stream to be longer than what I anticipated, and would definitely prolong my attempt to go to sleep. So we have the black and white, and ironically, here goes, I'm just going to say this, but I'm not going down this rabbit hole. Ironically, black and white is used symbolically a lot in the entertainment industry and media programming. Trust me, it is not happenstance No, don't trust me. Study, pray, seek, ask, and research. Don't take my word for it. Everything that I'm saying, don't just take my word for it. Please seek, study, ask, pray, and research. But it is not happenstance that celebrities, entertainers, wear a lot of cross colors, checkered colors, black and white, or orange and white, or red and white. They choose different colors, but it's a reason. But mainly black and white. And ironically, when it comes to gray, the grays, we use grays, as a way to identify and describe aliens. But who the true aliens are, the true grays in this world is supposed to be the righteous. We're in a very welcome NC worker. We're in a very, very, very interesting time. Everybody wants good. Everybody wants to be a recipient of good. Everybody wants to be a recipient of the benefits of being around righteous people. Why? Because righteous people have a moral compass. Even if they fall off, righteous people have a moral compass. So they won't really try, a righteous person is not really going to try to shade you and be comfortable in that shade. But we live in a world where wickedness is prevailing. We live in a time and we live in a world where wickedness is prevailing. This is the time of the rulership of the underworld, the dark underworld. This is the time and the rulership, the ruling of Satanism. This is the rule of Lucifer. So this is a time of great deception. There is no greater deceptor. There is no greater deceiver than Satan, than Lucifer himself. There is no greater manipulator than Lucifer himself. And there is no greater chameleon than Lucifer himself. So what we have here is we have in this wicked world, under this wicked ruling, this wicked domination, this wicked period, we have a desire for a godly outcome and godly solutions to worldly problems. We want a godly outcome to a satanic and to a worldly problem. And that won't work. No matter what our battles are, that simply will not work. So even those seeking righteousness, there are so many distractions. There are so many distractions. So many things pulling on our energy. And everything that's pulling on our energy and everything that's pulling on our spirit is designed to have us distracted from seeking righteousness and from being influenced by righteousness. His time is about up, right, Willie Littlejohn? And he's having a man, he is just having a field day with this his last season, isn't he? Yes, it is. He is busy. Yes. So I wanted to have this, drop this food for thought for the night as a reminder, and for some as to just plant a seed like, who are you being? Who, if that was your only choice, which would you choose? And then, what if you realized that that really is the you have to make? Like when it comes to who you're being, when it comes to what you desire, when it comes to your impact, that that is the most important choice that you have to make. And then that is the most important choice that you have to make every day from this point forward. What would you do with that? Who would you be? Who would you be behind the scenes when no one else is looking? If you didn't have to try to impress anybody, who would you be? Which would you choose? And then, if you had to choose one or the other in front of the whole world, which would you choose? And ponder whether you are someone who believes in the Most High, someone who believes in a God or not. Ponder if you were face to face or in the shadow of the Creator, in the shadow of God, and He asked you to choose privately But then after you choose in private and he fades away from your presence, you have to live your choice. Which would you choose? Peace, Jehovah. Neither choice would be easy because, again, it's so much easier to ride in the gray. The only people who make those choices easy are those who are extremists. Meaning, if they choose unrighteous, they're just going to go unrighteous all the way with a bang. If they choose righteous, they choose it all the way. They're leaving. Those are the real people. They're leaving. They will go find a whole. Those are the people that'll run off to the mountains all by themselves. Like, I don't want nothing to do with this world. Nothing. Let me just go to the mountains. Let me just live in a cave, live in the wilderness. Let me just get my hunt on. Living in the gray area is where it's most comfortable. But we're going to have to give up the gray. And when you give up the gray, when we give up the gray, we are definitely, notice how I say you and I say we, because I know I have to put myself in that as well. In all my conversations and in all my dialogues, I know that I have to put myself in it too. I don't like gray. I don't like gray either, Shannon. But when it comes to righteousness and unrighteousness, most people reside in the gray. So when you choose to go outside of the gray, oftentimes you will lose people because either they can't go along with you or you can't go along with them, period. Period. Sometimes people can't deal with people changing. And that's what it seems. It seems like you're changing on people. Sometimes it may seem like you're just choosing. Hi, Hippy Dippy 89, welcome. You're just choosing to not love them or accept them. But you don't have to choose any of that. The only thing you have to choose is, will you be righteous or unrighteous? And let that road take you where it's supposed to take you. Go where you're supposed to go. Do what you're supposed to do. We're all on this journey together. We're all on this journey together. And even no matter what we choose, there is growth, There's a process. Because see, you don't just say, hey, I choose righteousness. And then everything just falls together nice and easy. Nope. And even if you say, I choose unrighteousness, then everything falls together nice and easy. Nope. Oh, it's a process either way. It's just simply about what's important to you. When you think of it in those terms, what becomes important to you? How and why? And what do you do next? If you've already chosen, how are you standing in the choice that you already made? How are you standing? Is there anything that you're holding on to? Because the further we go along, it's not going to get any easier. For those who want to choose righteousness, for those who have chosen righteousness, it's not going to get any easier. It's not going to get any more comfortable. So forget that. Forget that. Just, no, forget that all the way. Just kick the idea of comfortable. Kick that far away from your mind. Kick it away from your mind. Because in no spiritual script did the prophets say that it would be comfortable. In fact, every prophet, every righteous leader, every righteous influencer that has transcended lived a life that was not comfortable. Been through many things. They took a different road and it wasn't comfortable. Wasn't always, is not always easy. Nope, not at all. Would you, if you choose righteousness? See, those who choose unrighteousness, here's the thing. Those who choose unrighteousness, those who choose wickedness, those who choose to go along with that flow, those, they usually definitely behind that choice. Are you willing to die if you choose righteousness? Are you willing to die for righteousness? If there was a purge, would you be willing to be purged or do purging for righteousness? What do you choose? There are only two types of people in the world. All over the world, there's only two types of people in the world. The righteous and the unrighteous. Peace and welcome, Miss Monica Moches. It's good to see you, sis. There's the righteous and the unrighteous. The righteous and the unrighteous. Peace and welcome, AM1. So let those words, let those words marinate, and no matter what you're striving for, and no matter where you are in life, and no matter your past, no matter your background, no matter your upbringing, no matter your obstacles, no matter your successes, no matter the things that you've already overcome, no matter the things that you've conquered, no matter any of those things, remember the power, your power of choice is what matters. And that choice should decide all the other choices that you're going to make, be the deciding factor in all the other decisions that you're going to make in your life about who and what you will become and what you will do and what you can live with and what you cannot live with. I hope that you would choose righteousness. I do. I do. I hope that you would choose righteousness. And if that's too heavy, I hope that you would choose good over bad. And I hope that you would give others around you the opportunity to choose that too. And I hope that with your choice, I pray and I hope that with your choice, that you are gracious towards yourself, that you are forgiving of yourself, that you are loving of yourself, that you are merciful with yourself, so that you can extend that to others, and so that you can receive that from the Most High. And if you choose righteousness, don't wait. Don't wait to seek God. Don't wait. Don't wait to ask the questions that you feel are the most important questions for you to ask and for you to know right now. Don't wait. Because this dream will end, and when this dream ends, it doesn't mean that you have another day. There is no guarantee you have another hour, no guarantee you have another year. There are no guarantees you have another nothing. There's not even a guarantee you have another breath. There are two types of people in the world: the righteous and the unrighteous. God bless. Peace. And I'm out. Thank you for joining me.